All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in for our team training tonight. We have practically a plexus celebrity, if there was such a thing. Incredible Aimee Darling is with us. She is a nutritionalist. She is an Emerald Ambassador. She is incredible with all of her knowledge about this business, about these products, about everything. So I don't want to wait any longer. Aimee, without further ado, welcome. Thank you so much for coming on and pouring into us. We have so many people excited that you are here, and I'm sure more and more people are going to be logging on as we speak.
Oh, thank you, Autumn. I appreciate you so much. I love working with you. You guys, she is an awesome leader. You know, when it's your leader, you never really realize how much work they do to pour into you. And so just take a second and get appreciative. I also love, as I see all the different pictures on your screen, I didn't know these different people were on your team. Oh my gosh, I totally know your team. I love it. It's exciting. So I appreciate the opportunity to be on tonight, and I want to tell you all a little bit of a story, and I want to give you some training, and I want to just talk to you about why what we have is so incredible. And you know, if we haven't had the pleasure of meeting, or maybe you've never watched me on a video, or you haven't heard me speak, and if you have, you're gonna get to hear it again. But I want to give you a little bit about my history and my background. And as Autumn and I were talking about, you know, just the best of what Plexus is, there's just so much about my story that's evolved over the last 4 years. In May, I'll be with Plexus for 4 years. And many of you know that prior to Plexus, I was a holistic nutritionist, and I'm no longer practicing. That has been a blessing and a curse for me, that I was a nutritionist before. So what I want to do is kind of give you some background, and also give you some tips about how to work with different people, and some information about the product that maybe you just don't realize the power you have in your hands. And so I'm going to go through those things. But, you know, I am that person that's so like many of you. I have worked this business, you know, for 4 years in a tiny town, in big towns, not connected, on Facebook, not on Facebook. I've done it so many ways. And so what I want to do is just tell you, walk you through what's happened. So 4 years ago, I'll give you an idea of where I was. So I'll back up to about 5. I have a good friend, Helen McFadden, who is a Diamond Ambassador. And of course, she's totally, you know, a household name for all of us. So we all know her. But Helen and her family, my family, we've been friends for over 20 years. And of course, Sonia Dudley and Sheila, you know, Medina, and we're all friends. We all came from a business together before. So you guys get excited about the nutrition knowledge I have, but I'll tell you the truth, I have more business knowledge than nutrition, because I was with another company for about 15 years, and just a really hard company to be part of, because it was very well established, but the training was amazing. So much what I bring you comes from years and years and years of disappointments and doing things, you know, wrong, failing forward over and over and over again. But really the difference with Plexus and that company was that with Plexus, any person can hit the ground running and move up as quickly or as solidly as they want. And we just don't have that in other companies. So if you don't have other network marketing experience, just trust me. And if you do, then you know that I'm not playing. This is crazy. People can make paychecks from day one. Are you kidding me? We have a product that the masses need. Oh my gosh, you're kidding. We have an amazing computer-based, you know, system. It's just unheard of. So when I was living in Las Vegas, I had an active practice. And I saw a lot of the same things over and over and over again. People were having problems with gastrointestinal health. They were having challenges with, you know, all the usual internal things. I also dealt with a lot of people that had hemorrhoids, because I worked for a surgeon that did a lot of hemorrhoid surgery. And then I worked for a naturopath, a chiropractor, and an acupuncturist. And so I had a lot of jobs, because preventative health typically doesn't pay real well. And so, as you can imagine, I was really super active. I was walking my walk and talking my talk, and I was juicing. I was a vegan. I was running a ton when we lived in Las Vegas. And when Helen started, I want you to understand something that's crucial to your business, and that's timing. So often we get caught up in the people that don't get back to us. You know, they reached out to you and you then turn around and you're like, well, you asked me for it. How come you're not? Like, all of a sudden it's crickets. Well, that was me, you guys. I was the person that was not getting back to Helen. And, you know, she reached out to me right when she started, and she was like determined, I want you to look at this, to offer this to your clients. And I had so much network marketing baggage, but no one really knew it because, you know, I wasn't a loudmouth about it. When Helen left, she told everybody she'd never touch network marketing again. I left, and people really, in my new life, as I moved on to a new career, we moved again. I had a couple children and nobody had a clue. So they didn't know. So they were used to seeing me just how I was. So when Helen reached out, I said, no, I don't want anything to do with it. Like, it's not a good product. Now, I hadn't researched, I hadn't looked, I didn't pay attention. I was barely on Facebook. And all I know is that back then, everybody got thrown in a testimonial group. I was like, oh my gosh, why am I in this group? My whole feed is full of these people with weight loss and gland changes and, you know, and like all these things. I'm like, nobody cares. Why? Why is this part of my life? And so the next thing you know, we moved. And what I didn't know then that I understand now is that yeast, right? I had a really horrid, strong amount of previous sugar addiction. And like truly, like between now and a town 10 miles from us, I could eat a pound of hot tamales. I mean, it just ruled my life. And it was always like a little this, a little that. Well, yeast is much like, think about, I live in really wet environment. And if you think about a tree with mushrooms on it, in the summertime, you don't see the mushrooms, but they're still there. The spores are there. So we lived in Vegas. We lived in Colorado. I didn't have any problems with cravings, yeast overgrowth. I lost 60 pounds with diet and exercise alone. And so when Helen came to me, I was like, nah, I'm good. Well, then we moved, things got stressful, we moved a lot. I gained my usual 10-ish pounds, 15, 20, but this time the extra weight was knocking my hormones off like it does, okay? It was affecting my sleep, which makes it worse. It was affecting my ability to make good food decisions, which then made it worse. And then, of course, as women, right, we take it out on all the people around us that we love the most, right? And so I became that mom, right? And then I didn't even want to get a job. I didn't want to work out. I didn't want to do those things. So like your customers, my timing was that I didn't have a need, and then I had a need. And then I said, okay, I want some of that. And then she sent me samples of Slim. I threw it in my drawer. I was like, what happens with us women, and men do it too, they just do it like differently. But I played this game of, well, you know, the day I reached out to you, my pants didn't fit. But I didn't tell her that. I just was like, nah, I don't need that. Throw it in my drawer. I'm going to do this with diet and exercise again. And I was denying these things, but my yeast was flaring in this wet environment with high stress, and all these things were happening. And your clients experience this, and you don't really understand that. And then my vitamin D was dropping. So we only really had Slim and Accelerator back then. There wasn't a lot of hoopla about ProBio 5, nothing about BioCleanse. X Factor wasn't even a blip on my radar. That first week that I actually chose to try the product was because I was circling the drain. I had finally been, and I want you to think about this with your business and your products. When a person is comfortable with their drama, it takes less effort for them to maintain their level of not making things happen. They're stuck, right? They're stuck at gold. They're stuck at silver. They're stuck at 20 pounds over, whatever it is. The uncomfortableness of maintaining that drama has not become uncomfortable enough for them to make a change. And that's where I was. I was loving on my drama. Now, if you'd asked me, I'd be like, no, I had every excuse. I don't need this. You know, we don't need the money. Okay, we needed the income. I needed the product. And I was researching the ingredients. And you guys, the ingredients that are in our products, they are what holistic people are telling people to use, and more. Other things like hundreds of dollars of other things that may or may not be necessary if you get a grip on your blood sugar, your inflammation, your gut health, and then of course your stress. And so all those things were wrapped up in it. And I finally decided, okay, I'll try it. So that first week I lost 8 pounds. Now, for those of you that have been around for a while, or even if you're brand new, you go, well, I've had those customers do that. They lose like 8 pounds. And then I want you to think about this though. When you lose weight, weight is so tied with mental, with what are they really eating? How much water are they drinking? The toxins sit in your fat layer. And if you've ever been, like I was, 200 pounds, I'm 5'3". So to be 200 pounds, I mean, I was square. Okay, I was a big person. And what was happening was all those toxins were in there, and I released a bunch of it, and then I started dropping inches, and I dropped pounds, and then I wasn't drinking enough water. And the next week, 5 pounds came back. But I knew I felt better. I knew the system was simple. I knew that it was affordable, and I knew that it was clean. And that made my business mind go, huh, my customers, my clients in my office, they need this, because what you're dealing with is an emotional thing with diet. And so I knew, okay, well, Helen, if I only need to make enough money for this product to be free, right? I want enough income to come in for it to be free. What would I have to do? Okay, then my daughter's special tutor popped in, another bill. Then my son's, his private school. And then I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, but what if I could dream again? And I was living at the time in a tiny area of Southern Oregon. Now, you guys, I want you to understand this. Where I was living in Southern Oregon is the county. In the state of Oregon, it's the #1 medicated diabetic county. #1. I could not get those people to use the product because they were getting free meds. So what did that do in my mind? I'm thinking, well, that can't be everybody, because that's a lie, right? You can't think that people don't need this and, blah, blah, blah. At the same time, my friend Lori Welsh, who's a diamond in California, she was building at the same time I was, and she was the first jewel in California and then the first diamond. And we had these conversations. She was dealing with snobby people around her in her state, and I was dealing with uneducated, happy to be uneducated people in my Southern Oregon place. And we were talking about, well, we just have to talk to more people, because you cannot possibly ever tell me that tiny towns, big towns, one's easier than the other. I don't care what state you're in. And so I just made that decision right then, as Lori and I were chatting and Helen and I were chatting, you know what? I know I feel better. So, and I know we needed the income. So why wouldn't I want to start really doing more with this? And so I went to work every day. I could not sell or recruit out of my office. I did not build as a nutritionist. And I will say this. I get a lot of messages where people will say, oh, Aimee, I want to become a nutritionist, or I want to go back to school and I want to do this and I want to do that. If your desires are to build a strong and healthy network marketing business that will give you financial freedom and time freedom for the rest of your days and set your family up for life, if you want that, going back to school is never going to be the answer. I crippled my team that first year, because I was educating them about all the body systems and all this and all that. And at the end of the day, how we built an emerald in Oregon, we were the first emerald in the state, and how we did it was me deciding that I didn't care if the people around me could get free meds. And I knew there had to be other people. And so I took a calendar, no, Aimee, a map. I took a map and I said, okay, Helen, I'm willing. And I drew a 100-mile radius. And I started going to those places on a schedule and purposely reaching out, because understand that in Las Vegas, I was the skinny runner chick. So nobody wanted anything to do with my plexus yet. And in Oregon, nobody knew me. And it was such a tight knit community that I wasn't a logger. And I wasn't part of the logging community. So I had to get tough, and I had to get really consistent with how I worked my business. And so I mapped it out. I talked to 5 people a day, 5 people a day, 5 people a day. And I didn't care. And I did not vomit info. I did on my team, which was a hot mess. Don't do that. But I didn't to the people I was meeting, because I had all this previous network marketing experience. And so the best thing you can ever do is to really get specific. Okay, I do 3 things in my business every work day. And I don't take days off and then quit for 3 days and then come back for a day and quit for 3 days. I couldn't afford that. I don't know who in this business that can. I mean, if you're spare time and you love what you're doing, kudos, sister. We're going to love on you all day. But if you really want to have that $3,000, $10,000, $20,000 a month income, you want to pay off debt and buy a house and help your family and, you know, give to missions. If that's what you're after, there has to be a schedule of work. And the one thing I'm good at is consistency. And so I would go to those places and I would make sure I talked to 5 people a day. And I didn't care if they told me yes, no, buzz off. And I would tell them the truth. I'm bringing a product to your area. And I would, you know, this is the type of person I'm looking for. Who do you know? And I had tons of people join me, and then I had tons of people quit. I had all kinds of stuff happen. At the same time, my downline took off in Vegas because I had a couple connections down there that started. And one of them was Molly Orr, and she's my first line down there. And then a couple other people that are in the nutrition field that I just told them, I'm like, this is the best product you're ever going to find. It's dealing with the main issues we deal with. And they were like, okay. And they started carrying it in their office. None of them are even around anymore. Okay. So when you think about it, start thinking about, if you were to write anything down that came out of my mouth, it would be, what are you doing every day that's the same 3 things? And it's talk to the people about your business, talk to the people about your product, follow up, start them, and teach them how to talk to people about your business, talk to people about your product, and follow up. And that's it. And I became like this daily machine, 5 people a day, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And I made myself not have time to notice the noise. People were coming up the ranks. I hit Emerald. People were going past me. I had, you know, things happen where I never lost rank, but I had, you know, teams that were unsure of themselves that came and went. I had all kinds of things happen. But what I know about network marketing is that when I come home at night, I can look at my husband that pays our bills. I can look at my son who was so desperately sick, and we can afford now to have a doctor that takes cash only in Colorado. And we can help people that need help. I've got a really good friend of mine who's from our previous church, and they are a huge part of a sex trafficking thing, research and field work. And I've never been able to help anybody because we were trying to help ourselves because we were poor. We weren't poor. If he heard that, he'd be freaking out. But we weren't poor. But, you know, there was no extra. And Plexus, because I was bold, and yes, it mattered to me, you guys. When I was talking to people, and I would talk to people that didn't want to help themselves, you know those people you meet? They're like, I want to use Plexus. I want to be an ambassador. And then really what they're saying is, but I want it to be easy and I don't want to put any effort forth. I have those. I've been that person some days. And I had days where I was like, are you kidding me? I am a nutritionist. I have thousands of hours in an amazing career, and I am putting up with this. And I would have days where I was like, I'm out of here. I'm not doing this anymore. And then it was like, okay, I can either help 20 people and make $25 an hour, 20 people a week, or I can help 3,000 and make 12,000 a month. I mean, it just, to me, the heart of who I am is how many people can I help? Getting paid is a bonus. But I never want any of you to suffer like we suffered. So when you think about your products, okay, Plexus is going to pay you to be bold. And Plexus is going to pay you to get over yourself. Because I'll tell you, the number one thing that Helen and I talk about, when she coaches with me, the question is always, what are you holding yourself back from this week? Because that's really what it is. Okay, all right, here's my drama of the week. I'm being a weenie about whatever it is. Because the way we work never changes. How many people a day are you going to talk to? Is your goal to where you have to talk to 5 a day? Or is your goal to where you have to talk to 3 a day? Or is your goal 2 a day or 1 a day? And I don't really care where you live, because we've seen Sonia Dudley build how many diamonds out of her town of 700. And we've seen Lori Welsh build in California, the snobbiest place on the face of the planet, okay? And here's what I love about Oregon, okay? Because, you know, that's where my people are. But here's what I love about Oregon. I love going to a booth in Eugene when they're standing there sucking on their drum of Pepsi in their tie-dyed outfit, and they hold the bag of Slim up and they go, there's polydextrose in this. Really? Do you even want me to begin to tell you about what high fructose corn syrup's doing to your body there, sister? And your bad acne and your puffy body, and really? But they know so much. So I always have to take what we do with a grain of salt, because it's like that everywhere. Every place I travel, I travel a lot for Plexus because my team is very nationally wide and internationally wide. And so I travel a lot, and I will just tell you that it cracks me up. It's the same everywhere I go. It's just how many people are you willing to talk to? And so as we've built, I've just seen a lot. I've seen a lot of crazy. From there, let me kind of give you an idea of what the market is, okay? If you think about your products, our products are what drives our business. But if we are not talking to a specific amount of people every work day, right, whether you're a 2-day-a-week work person or a 5-day-a-week person, if we're not talking to X number of people per day and tracking that, then we're not really working a business. We're kind of playing in a hobby. And I've done it, but that doesn't pay my bills. And so I don't work like a freak. I work intentionally. And so that's what has built something solid for me. We took almost the whole month of February off because we had family in town for my daughter's 13th birthday. And it was killing me because I love what I do. And it was like, oh my gosh, I mean, I've got hundreds of messages on every platform I'm on. But at the same time, I'm able to do that because of the time we've spent building that residual income. So I hope that you understand that if you love these products, you will get paid to be a mouth and keep telling people every day. You're not getting paid for your nose, you're getting paid for your boldness, okay? So think about your products like this. The number one best attribute of a network marketer, besides consistency, is a listener. It's not what you know about your products, it's how many questions are you willing to ask. When I meet somebody like Krista or Annalisa or Allison, I'm just going to ask them, you know, what are you struggling with? What do you need more of in your life? And when they start telling me they're tired, I always have an ear to the ground. I'm always a half-brain listener, half-brain planner. And that's just how I work. If I met someone at church on Sunday, literally, I just liked her energy. There was something about her that I liked. I liked the way she dressed. She said to me as I walked up to get my little pamphlet for the day, right? I don't know what that's called. I'm not the best of church people. I'm sorry. I don't know what that's called, but it's the piece of paper. And my husband would die if he heard me say that, so don't tell me. But I'm thinking Catholic, that's a missalette, but we're not Catholic anymore, so that's a sidetrack, so I apologize. But she's standing there, and she says to me, what do you put in your hair? And I'm thinking, I don't know. It's a bad day today. There's wind. And she was chatty. And she's like, oh, it smells good. Do you use Aveda? And I said, I don't, but are you a hairdresser? And she said, no, but I used to use Aveda. I said, I've got something better now. It's a little bit cleaner. You know, Aveda got taken over by Estee Lauder. She goes, really? She was so my people. Because we were storying right there together. And I was like, I need to know her. I pull out my phone. Do you use Facebook? She's like, I'm on Facebook every day. I said, perfect. Here, put your name in. I'll give you some info later. Could I have told her right there it was Numa? Yes. Did I? Heck no. I was like, I like you. Hook. I will talk to you later. Screenshot so I don't forget, because I might. And so I was like, okay, my goal is 3 a day. I'm like, next, there's one. And then I went back about my business. But as she's talking, I'm listening. She started telling me about how she's a personal trainer and she works out at her house. I said, I'd love to get together and just talk about what you do. She said, that sounds fabulous. I said, well, what made you go into that field? She said, I used to be overweight. I had a lot of pain. And I'm listening. And now this is what most people do. This is what old Aimee would have done 20 years ago. A verbal vomit. I work with Plexus. Blah, 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 you gotta try my product, and here's my pink drink. I used to do that. Don't do that. And so now I'm listening, and I'm like, now here's the thing. The person that gets to talk walks away feeling like it was the best conversation ever. If you're the one that sits and tells her all about her product, oh my gosh, we've got the best product for that. And I lost 20 pounds. Look at my picture. And I mean, I'm serious. I used to do that. And I don't. I sat there and I just kept talking to her and, you know, have you lived here long? And what do you think? And, oh my gosh, that's exciting. You must have a product you love. She does. That's wonderful. I can't wait to talk to you more about, you know, and I'll send you the hair thing. And that was it. And away I went. I asked her about 4 questions and she spoke for 90% of it. And I got a message from her this morning. It was so nice talking to you. I can't wait to get together. And I'm thinking I have no clue when. I'm getting ready to fly with our president. I don't know when that's going to happen. But she goes on my Frank's list. And then I keep that flowing, right? It's constant, 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 because I know that it will take probably 10 quality conversations for me to have 3 or 4 get together with me. And then I know that I want to have 1 or 2 start. And of the 10 that start, I'm going to have 3 that basically don't even know why they bothered. And then they go into the witness protection program. 3 of them are going to be happy with what they're doing with their product at wholesale. And they're going to love plugging into all of our team knowledge, but they're never going to do more than just basics. 3 of them are going to kind of threaten and act like they want to move up and then have self-doubt and then don't want to really personally grow. And I can't help that. I just love everybody equally. And then I'm going to have 1 person out of that 10 that's going to not care what people say, and they're just going to go. And that's the numbers game. And so that's what I really want you to understand, is that that's going to have to always happen. So when you think about your products are in categories. You work with a blood sugar market, you work with a pain market, and you work with an energy market. Okay. And so I think of my products like that. So I'm always looking to see where they go. Blood sugar and gut health to me is the same category because they're intertwined. Okay, Slim is more than just a blood sugar balancer. You have in there a blend of prebiotic, detoxifier, natural energy enhancer, and you have a fat burner, because when your blood sugar is balanced and your insulin sensitivity goes up, it affects from the way you think, to the way your eyes work, to the way your skin, right? Your skin, the dark spots I had on my face that went away and I didn't even know. It affects your aging. It affects pain. It affects acidity in the body. It affects every system from head to toe. So when I see people say, I don't know, I'm just going to take ProBio 5 now and drop Slim, are you kidding me? That's the cornerstone. Because if your blood sugar is balanced, then your gut doesn't have as many sugars feeding it. And then your cravings are down. So it takes the body about 4 to 6 months. So I always say to people, please give this a year, but at least 4 months of diligent use, because you're trying to undo years of bad habits that are so far left that they can't go back right. And then it goes back and forth. So their thyroid is connected to that. Their cortisol is connected to that. So that's their sleep, their weight loss, and all of that's connected. BioCleanse, BioCleanse is a wonderful product because it's giving you good amounts of magnesium, and you have 300 parts of your body that are connected to it. So when your blood sugar is slightly off and your magnesium is deficient, you don't think properly. So then you're making even more cuckoo decisions, right? Your muscle isn't regrowing like it should. You're not lifting as well as you should. You're not sleeping as well as you should. Lord knows you're not eliminating the toxins in your body as well as you should. And when I start people, I start them Slim and then BioCleanse, then ProBio 5. Because if I start ProBio 5 second, all the toxin load that's being pulled out of their body from Slim and then being pulled out of their body from killing the yeast when the ProBio 5, where's it going to go? It's going to recirc. So you want to do it in a way that does that. You're not their doctor, but you're giving them basic guidance. And if they feel like something's a deal breaker, an ingredient, a product they don't love, then don't use it. And I have customers that became Edge customers long before triplex, because they were stock skinny bar 3 people, or they're my running group, right? They think they're fine. They don't have any major IBS type symptoms. They don't have food allergies. They have nothing. So they won't go into my blood sugar gut health bracket. They don't have any pain. So they won't go into my pain, ease, nerve health, all of that. So then they go into my energy side, right? I can usually talk to people about X Factor, and I can talk to them about Edge. And so I can categorize them. And based on what I hear them complain about, I know what the conversation needs to be. Get good at that, you guys. It's really an easy skill. It's find their need, fill it. There it is. Okay. So that's where that category is. But think about this with ProBio 5. You've all seen the video I made on ProBio 5, but understand that ProBio 5 is a corrective agent. It's giving you good bacteria in your garden. So it's like flowers. So if your body is more bacterial than it is anything else, and your customers in years to come, and your team members are customers also, they just get a different cost. They're going to learn about their whole garden, and they're going to learn about like microbiome and how your body has more bacteria than anything else. So you're killing from the weed root outward, not just shaving off the top of the weed. You're going down to the roots, and that's where you're looking at your chitinase. That's where you're looking at all the enzymes. That's where you're looking at the antifungal component. That's where you're getting down in there, okay? And then you're repopulating with some good gut bacteria. And then it's their job, it's your job. That product is a weight loss product. When your gut health is in good working order, your body will self-regulate weight gain or weight loss, okay? Your bacteria inside of your gut, it'll be from your stomach down to the end, from top to bottom. In that middle, if you've been overweight for more than a year, then you have warped your bacteria and it changes. And so your job then is to keep staying the course, staying the course, staying the course, not putting in the system, not eating and drinking the junk while your body is being cleaned up by the supplementation. And then you're making better food choices, which is then further cleaning up the junk. So that's that section, okay? And ease, I mean, gosh, just open a magazine, look at turmeric. I mean, my goodness. Plus the serapeptidase. So let me tell you really quick. If you have people that are really having a lot of brain issues, right? A lot of brain issues, a lot of seasonal allergies, things like that. You've got people that are, I want you to think about this. Anytime you have something that has an inflammatory base, right? Leaky gut, intestinal permeability is swollen. It's not just open, but those junctions are swollen. There's benefit to using ease for all of those people. And then there's more weight loss because then their inflammation goes down, their inches go proper. And then from there, you need to think about your edge and your X factor. So edge, go look up your ingredients, you guys. Edge just is an energy. So when I meet people, especially all these moms at bar 3 that I go to, my local bar, they, that sounds wrong, bar studio, right? Okay, when I go, every time I make a video and that whole wall of wine in my kitchen, I have an additional whole wine room, like not like my friend Celeste, that's the bomb. When I stayed at her house last year, I was like, dang, like my most expensive bottle of wine was like $10. I don't even want to talk to you about Celeste, but I have a whole second room. It's the same wine because I don't drink it. We have it, but it's like a bottle every couple months, maybe, if people come over. So when you see that next time, you'll be like, don't be impressed. It's the same bottles, little orange labels. So when you think about edge has a detoxification component. So when I'm at bar 3 and I'm talking to these dying, exhausted, coffee-laden moms, I will ask the question, and I want you to learn this. Like, this is going to be one of the last things I say to you, but I want you to think about this. If you start asking people questions that are obvious and they agree, they'll say, it's exhausting to be a mama of a 2-year-old. They go, uh-huh. They think you're brilliant because you said something that they agree with. Go back and watch Big Al. He'll teach you how to do this. If you say to somebody, let's see, Autumn lives in California. Am I right, Autumn? Are you in California? See, I know you, but I see you all the time, talk to you all the time, never been to your hood. So when I talk to Autumn and I say to Autumn, California got some snobby health people up in there, she's going to go, yes, they do. Gosh, Aimee is so smart because I repeated something to her that is a truth and she knows. So when I meet people at bar, I just ask them. I genuinely think everybody and their mother's brother should be on Plexus products of some sort, genuinely, to the bottom of my bones. I know it. I've seen it. I saw the same problems in practice all the time. If you have that conviction, you'll never sell another thing in your life. And I go to bar and I'm sitting there, I'm talking to the lady with the twins. I'm like, being a mom of twins is exhausting. She goes, you are so right. Lindsay talks to me all the time now because I told her a truth. And so the other day I said to her, she was drinking a coffee, and I said, do you crash in the afternoon? She said, every afternoon. I said, I'm a supplement rep for a holistic company, right? She goes, yeah, I know. I see your car. I said, I've got the hookup for you, don't you? She goes, what is it? I said, it won't drop you like coffee. It's called Edge, and you'll love it. It gives you great sustained energy without feeling overly loopy, because you want to be able to concentrate on those babies. And she goes, you're kidding. Bring me some. And so I'm showing up to bar, like exchanging cash for pills. But you have to start doing that with people, because now she'll listen to me. She's bone nay skinny. She has no fat on her body. And that's how she's built. She's not trying to be that way. She's built that way. So slim is never going to open up a door for her. ProBio 5, she's not there, but she needs more energy. And so Edge opens up that relationship. So I just want you to remember that you have in the palm of your hands an amazing product, but you have to keep offering it to people, because if you're not in action, you don't believe in the product or the company anymore. And then you don't get to your goals, and the next thing you know, it's sad. Mm-hmm. And I hate seeing that, because what you don't really get quite yet is the legacy that we're building. It's going to be huge in years to come, you guys. I talk to people in our industry all the time that if they weren't huge in something else, they would be part of Plexus, because we are building a legacy company, and we're building it from scratch. So that means sometimes the back office bites, but it won't be like that forever. Okay. But you have to talk to people, because what you have is incredible. Your products. Mm-hmm. But that's kind of it. That's all I did. That's where we live. The man wasn't excited in the beginning of my business. He thought it was phooey and didn't want anything to do with it. And that's kind of it. So, but that's all I do. And then sometimes I work.
I love you for so many reasons. And I love that you brought up, I feel like so many times people are just constantly pushing the triplex as if that's the only thing that exists.
It's actually not one of our top selling sets. The triplex is the cornerstone for your health. And I truly believe in that. But I also know that you have to meet people with where they are. And if you get the stats from the company, you will find out that we have, contenders in so many of the different arenas of our products. It's not just the triplex. We talk about it a lot, but when I started, I don't remember when you started, Autumn, but when I started, triplex didn't exist. It was slim and some funkadelic product that gave me crazy headaches. That wasn't anything wrong with it. I can't take Edge. Okay. That's too much energy. I would chew my own arm off. So there's no amount of fat in the world I can eat with my breakfast to allow me to take Edge. Can you imagine how fast I'd talk? I'd be like quadruple espresso chick, and it would never crash. It'd be like sustained. I did take Edge for one full cycle. I think, do you remember that when I posted that I stunk? Do you remember?
Yeah.
Edge made me think.
Yeah.
It's because it was detoxing, and it was beautiful and wonderful. But it was like, why do I smell? Well, I had more junk in me and I didn't know it.
That's so awesome.
I know. See, if you ever want to know anything creepy, come sit next to me.
And that's why, I train this team, and I train you guys that when you sign an ambassador, you have to go and show them all of the products that we have. Take them through. I mean, people literally think the triplex is the only thing that exists, and we have so many other amazing products. They could be benefiting from our vitamin, or, the children's vitamin for their kids and things like that. Okay, I want to open it up to questions for a couple minutes here.
Can you stop your recording?
Oh, yes, let's stop here.